Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about how Google is hurting itself in its confusion. Google AI search. Now, you did a video the other day talking about the nonsense answers that were coming out of AI search.
And the deals they were making with places like Kotaku and things to train their AI, yes.
Right. Yeah, they're making, Reddit and Quora and all these other like user-generated content farms, I guess, they're training Google. Well, what's going on is that Google is not sending traffic to websites. So the good news is, for sites like Kotaku, the end is probably near. That's the good news. Kotaku will be done pretty soon. This is why their owner, GeoMedia, is selling all their websites at fire sale prices. The bad news is the websites that you do like will also burn down.
Right, because it's just across the board.
So we're gonna talk about this because this is Google's attempt, a lot of people believe, to keep as much revenue as it can for itself by keeping people on Google's search page. But the problem is that they're cannibalizing ad revenue from other websites that they depended on for years, and the whole thing is going to implode.
And then they keep calling you wanting you to spend money. I know this because they keep calling us wanting us to spend money, and I'm just like, but why would I spend money when you destroyed everything? Why would I give you more money? You already took my money. Why would I give you money to destroy it more?
So we're gonna talk about this because there's been a lot of discussion, but I don't think we've seen the full impact of just how bad things are going to get. It's going to be a very different internet, and it happened almost overnight. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
And we do have a sponsor for this video, so here's a word from them. Hang tight. We'll be back with the news. I have to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, Aura. Go to aura.com/clownfish TV. So the other day I decided to Google my name and address just out of curiosity. What I found was pretty unsettling. My personal phone number, my location, my colleagues, my business info, and even my work history all popped up in my search. It's crazy to think that all this personal information is just out there for anyone to find, right? And we don't know who's looking. This is probably the reason why we constantly get bombarded with spam calls at work. It's gotten to the point where I have to mute my business phone throughout the day just to get some peace and quiet. I am not kidding. It's frustrating to think that my personal details are being sold to spammers and scammers without my consent. That's why I've started using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura is like a digital shield that protects my personal information from being sold on the dark web and by data brokers. It's always working in the background, alerting me if my data is compromised and helping me take action to secure it. With data breaches happening left and right, like the recent AT&T breach where 73 million customers' details were leaked, it's more important than ever to have a service like Aura watching your back. AT&T recommends those affected use strong passwords, monitor account activity, and consider credit freezes or fraud alerts from credit bureaus. Well, Aura does all this for me, and best of all, instead of juggling multiple apps and worrying about my online security, Aura takes care of it all in one place, giving me peace of mind to focus on what matters most, like making content, right? If you value your privacy as much as I do, head over to aura.com/clownfishtv to start your 2-week free trial. The link is also in the description below. Let's take control of our personal information and keep it out of the wrong hands. Again, a big thanks to Aura for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it. All right, guys, welcome back. So, if you've been following this situation, we've been following this situation. A lot of video game websites, a lot of pop culture websites have been some of the most affected by this change in Google, the AI search. This guy, Mark Rofi, on Twitter says that some publications have lost a lot of traffic from Google. Culture Trip, 82% since the change. Thrillist, 72%. GQ's down 70%. Mashable's down 64%. TechCrunch is down 62%. If you look at this list out here, and this is just since the big change in May,
May or September?
So they did 2 major updates that killed off traffic. They did one in September. Oh, wait, no, 3. I'm sorry, 3. They did one in September, one in March, and then the big one is this month. So these numbers, this decline is actually before we saw the transition to AI search snippets.
Yes.
And Kotaku was already down 64%. It's, you know what I'm saying?
A lot of these sites. It's
BuzzFeed's
ridiculous.
down 61%. And a lot of them are pop culture blogs. A lot of them are tech blogs. So, you know, a lot of these websites were very popular for a very long time. And you're not getting the search traffic because Google's keeping you on their search page, right? Well, that sounds good in theory, I guess. If you run Google, you're like, well, we're going to keep more ad revenue here. But this article says that they're actually going to cannibalize and hurt themselves. But the problem is, by the time they figure it out, they have already decimated the internet.
I just want to say on the record, and you can vouch, I have said this since we started hearing about it. I have said they're just going to bite themselves in the ass with this. Have I not said that to you?
Yeah.
For the reasons they're mentioning, I've said it since they started doing it, and I stand by it.
So yeah, and people are already making fun of Gemini, and they're making fun of the AI search results. So like, people aren't going to trust Google for search results anyway. And I did read, there's somebody else on Twitter, another tech guy, who said that there's a massive uptick in people using Bing and DuckDuckGo and Yahoo search. Because being an old person, you know, by old I mean like 40s, I remember an internet when we had options.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't just Google. We had Lycos, we had Alta Vista, we had Jeeves.
Oh my God, Alta Vista.
I
forgot about Jeeves, yes.
We had, there were so many search engines out there. And then Google just kind of came in and ate everybody's lunch. And everybody just kept kind of giving more and more power to Google.
We do have other search engines, like besides the ones you said. There are other ones you can use, but you know.
Nobody uses them.
Most people don't. Yeah.
They might start though.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to because, and then I just think it's funny real quick. We talked about in the video the other day about some of these really dumb AI answers, and Google's response was, well, they were looking up weird stuff. I'm like, asking if you can smoke when you're pregnant is not something weird to look up. It's a common thing people would look up. But they also said that some of the answers were doctored, the images were doctored, and they weren't really what it said. Thing is, I can see bloggers doing that. Because they're pissed.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Google. You know,
that's exactly.
I can see it. I mean, I'm not saying that is the case, but when I think about it, I can see them doing it just to be like, don't listen to them.
If you know that Google is pulling its information from Reddit and from Quora or something, I can see somebody going out there and starting a Reddit thread or a Quora thread just to trick the AI into thinking this is what the correct answer is.
Not just that, they're saying that the people took images and they just like made the image look like it said something it didn't say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, could I see people doing that? Yeah, I can see people doing that because they're ticked.
Well, yeah, because I mean, digital journalism has been just completely flattened in the last couple of years. And this is the kill shot. Basically, it was declining because the ad revenue was declining. And you know, the venture capital ran out. So that was kind of like strike one. And now it's just like, oh yeah, we're not even going to send traffic to your websites anymore. So there's no point. There's no point to even having, I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. This is a guy who runs websites. We've been running websites for like 15, 20 years. I can't even tell you to go start your own website because there's no point until we figure out what's going on. If there's another option for search engine optimization or another search engine that's viable to Google that doesn't use the AI snippets or whatever, there is no point to starting a website right now because nobody's going to find it. But they said, yeah, it's going to impact revenue. They said Google's AI overview is going to impact its own ad revenue. They might be cannibalizing their own revenue stream, says this expert.
They are definitely going to be cannibalizing their own revenue stream. I'm waiting for this to end up like, you know, in front of Congress or something because I've seen other things get turned in there for less.
Well, okay. So in the UK, they actually did get into a lawsuit over their practices because they were going to stop sending links to certain news sites. But I think that they're just going to stop sending links to anybody that's not playing ball with them and allowing them to absorb their data. That seems to be what's going on. But they said that, yeah, this is a short-term game. They said that they will, in the short term, make more revenue because everybody will be trapped on the Google search page. And you can see all these like native ads and stuff come up on the page now. It's all junked up with ads. But it's going to be a very short-term boost, and then all these websites are going to collapse, and people are going to go to other search engines.
Well, like this is the perfect example. You look up what's the cure for the common cold, and it used to be they'd send you to like medical sites, Mayo Clinic, Centers for Disease Control, etc., GoodRx. Yep. Now AI is going to scrape them and not tell you where they got the answers from. And that's what they're doing. They'll answer the question so you see it first before you can see any other. Then they'll show the other sites underneath, but they'll show their answer first so you don't have to go anyplace else. But they took your stuff and they didn't like even tell people where they got it from.
And who decided?
Didn't cite it.
Right. Well, that's the thing too, because they said the CEO was saying that eventually they're probably not even going to link to external sites in tenure. Like it's done. That phase of the internet's done, which I understand. Time marches on, but who decides what the authoritative source is? Because this is the same Google that built Gemini that was race swapping historical characters just to be more diverse and inclusive.
Even if it wasn't true.
Even if it wasn't true. Even if it was impossible. They were, you know what I'm saying? It was like, why would you? They had like female popes in the 1500s. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
No, interesting. They said Google ad revenues have more than doubled since 2018. But
yes.
Okay, great. But who's going to have money to pay you? Why pay for ads if it's not going to do you any good?
Yeah, that's it. A lot of these publishers paid Google to promote their stuff, and Google gets a share. It's just like, with YouTube, they get, a percentage of publishers' revenue. So if you have a publisher that's, getting hundreds of millions of page views a month and Google is sharing that, well, they're not going to get that anymore.
Right, because they're just going to put their little AI blurb at the top. No one's going to go to their site. So why would they give you more money?
Yeah, they said Google's ad revenues have more than doubled. Yeah. Yes. So if the AI overview is keeping more users on Google's homepage and pushing fewer users to web pages where the most lucrative ads are housed, won't Google's ad revenue take a hit?
I think Google's going to start moving ads so that they get to keep most of the money, is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. This is a play right out of the Facebook playbook. That's an awkward sentence. This is a play out of the Facebook playbook. But it is. Facebook is doing the same thing, or they have done the same thing. And they basically turned Facebook into a ghost town. Not as many people are using Facebook, but they chased off a lot of users. They wanted to keep you on Facebook. They would provide warnings if you were going to go to another website. And I can see this happening with Twitter, with X right now, too. They're trying to be like, oh, yeah, if you publish your videos directly on X instead of linking to YouTube, it's going to get a boost in the algorithm. But it's like, okay, great. Are you going to make money? Because at the end of the day, that's what the content creators care about. You got to make money or not? But yeah, they said that in the short term, there's going to be a hit to the revenue. This is John Wybe, I guess, an associate professor of media innovation. He said it looks like they're going to cannibalize their own revenue stream. The AI overview and de-emphasis on links could reduce the traffic to websites by 25%. No. This is before the AI search. It's so much worse now. I'm going out and I'm finding people that are reporting their own websites' traffic. It is catastrophic. There are websites that have lost 87% of their traffic in the last couple of months. And these are websites that got like a ton of views, like millions of views every month. And they're losing that. They said, especially for web publishers who depend on traffic, there could be some absolute falling off a cliff dynamic. This is why you're going to see all these websites go up for sale. That's why they sold all those websites to IGN, because they're not getting traffic. Businesses and publishers may start providing new data layers on their websites to be detected by the AI search engine and bid and auction for the opportunity to be displayed in the search results. Oh, that sounds like shit, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it also sounds scary because it's not about what's true.
It's about who's paying the most.
So if I want to lie because, I don't know, it's an election year. I want to lie and say someone did something they didn't do, but I bid the highest and my stuff goes up there. Doesn't make it true. No, but I bid the highest. You think that's going to work out well for anybody other than Google?
Yeah, they said Google might eventually connect its ads to AI, but they said users might not want to read or even trust the AI overview if they view it as essentially a paid advertisement. Because we saw what happens with it right now. It's like it's still learning and it's scraping content and it's not giving accurate results. And we don't know who is behind the algorithm or how they make the determination. And they're just going to blow themselves up. They said Google is doing what many startups including Twitter and Reddit in the 90s did. They launched without a reliable revenue stream, and now they have to figure out, how to monetize people. Twitter never figured it out.
Interesting, this guy, he actually directs Northeastern. This is from Northeastern, by the way. Graduate program in media innovation, data communication, journalism, and media advocacy. He said that, for the record, he doesn't think Google's search engine and AI strategy, attract an audience first and figure out how to make money later, is a bad idea.
But what is the collateral damage going to be?
That's just it. He said, I think a new architecture is starting to emerge. The canonical World Wide Web, as we've known, is just going to evolve to have new kinds of data layers that feed the AI models. So basically, you're just feeding AI models. That's, I guess it was algorithms before AI, which is similar.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so here's what I think is going to happen here. Like, I guess it's not a bad idea on paper, but just from a business perspective, people are not going to trust Google. They're looking for alternatives. It's already happening. I mean, they said that there's a massive uptick now in search on, I can't remember where I saw it, but it was, I'll ask Google where I saw it. It was DuckDuckGo, Bing, all these other search engines. People are looking for alternatives, just like they're looking for alternatives to host video, just like they're looking for, you know what I'm saying? And you're not allowed to talk about those alternatives on YouTube, apparently, like by name. I've heard that they've actually banned that. So the more you try to tighten your grip on the internet, the more you try to tighten your grip on users, the more they're going to reject it.
Well, the problem is, though, Google owns so much. That's the problem. They mentioned that. They said they have a competitive advantage because they own Alphabet, they own Google Chrome, YouTube, AdSense. AdSense is the big advertising thing people use across the board. They own it.
Yahoo was the internet at one point in time. AOL was the internet at one point in time. I think
Google's had the whole longest. But
I think they've had the longest, but they need to be very, very careful. Now, there is speculation that they could realize that this is an oopsie-doopsie and they need to kind of course correct. But at that point in time, all these websites will have been destroyed. And that, again, some people are going to cheer that on. They're going to be like, that's fantastic. So glad that Kotaku and Friends are gone.
But it might be worse.
It might actually be worse. We're going to have fewer sources
but you have to bid to see who gets their data promoted. It could end up being worse.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be basically, whoever pays the most is going to be who is the most authoritative voice on the internet,
which is a very scary thing.
That is a scary thing. Yeah, and this is an article from Axios saying AI is eating the web right now. And look, I think eventually things will get sorted out. But I think what's going to happen in the short term, and Google might be prepared to take that risk, right? They might be prepared to be like, well, you know what, if we blow up 3/4 of the internet.
But that's okay for Google.
Yeah, it's okay for Google.
It's not okay for the 3/4 of the internet.
Right. But that also will, I think, expedite. And I think that's what Musk is trying to do with X. I think he's trying to get X up to speed that X can be kind of an everything app and stand alone from Google and do the video and do the news and do all that stuff. Because they're even, when it comes to news, like they're not even sending traffic. And there are a lot of bloggers bitching about that. They're like, they're not even sending news to websites, reliable vetted websites anymore. Like you search for news results and a lot of it's like just advertisements and stuff. Whatever they did over the last couple months, whoever pushed that button, they massively over corrected and they overshot, I think, the mark a little bit.
Well, they're not a little bit, but they're saying about, they said the engine will answer many or most queries with a paragraph or two written by generative AI. The system will rely on web-based information, but doesn't nourish the creators of the information with user visits.
No.
And it's likely going to make it less inviting for humans to contribute to the web's collective pool of knowledge. Google's summary answers could also leave its own and everyone else's AI tools with less accurate, less timely, and less interesting information.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Eventually I do believe that things do course correct. And I think that there will be a demand for alternatives. And I think Google might even look at this. I think the only thing that will slow their roll, I think, is if they see their ad revenue dropping off a cliff because, all those publishers we used to get ad revenue from, they all went out of business. they all went out of business, so we're not getting money from them anymore. You know, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, they're saying short term, they're going to hurt themselves in this mad dash.
But they're going to hurt everybody else also.
Absolutely. So they just our 2 cents. But there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. Check out our sponsor. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.